Hello and welcome to another First Chapter Friday. I've got a book for you today. I'm kind of excited about. I read it a while ago and I really liked it, and I thought it'd be fun to share with you today. But first, I have a question. Have you ever used a diary or a journal, or had something that you wrote in and just kind of maybe wrote letters to yourself, or just wrote down what happened during the day, or maybe wrote letters to someone who's not there anymore? That's exactly what happens in this book, The Night Diary, by, by Veera Hiranandai. This story is really neat. It's set in India in the late 1940s. The country has just been freed from the British. It's become Pakistan and India, and Nisha and her family are traveling to be safer in another safer place. Now, Nisha doesn't have her mother anymore. And so she has a book, a diary, that she writes in, and she writes letters to her mom throughout the book, and it's very interesting. And I thought I would share part of it with you today as we hear about her and her journey to another place. July 14th, 1947. Dear Mama, I know you know what happened today at 6 a.m. 12 years ago. How could you not? It was the day we came home and you left. But I don't want to be sad today. I want to be happy and tell you everything. I'll start at the beginning. You probably already know what I'm telling you, but maybe you don't. Maybe you haven't been watching. I like turning 12 so much already. It's the biggest number I've ever been, but it's an easy number. Easy to say, easy to count, easy to split in half. I wonder if Emil thinks about you on this day like I do. I wonder if he likes being 12. We woke up a little before 7. Emil and I usually sleep through our birth minutes, and then when we wake up, we stand next to the last mark we etched onto the wall with a sharp rock. No one else knows it's there. I do it for Emil, and he does it for mine. And then we compare how much we've grown since last year. Emil has finally caught up with me. Papa says someday Emil will tower over us all. That's hard to imagine. Papa gave me your gold chain with a small ruby stone hanging from it. He started giving me the jewelry when I was 7. Now I have 2 gold bangles, 2 gold rings, small emerald and gold hoop earrings, and the ruby necklace. Papa said I should save the jewelry for special occasions, but lately there are none. So I wear all the jewelry at once and never take it off. I don't know where he keeps all of it, but each year on my birthday, another piece appears at my bedside in a dark blue velvet box with gold trim. When you open it, the blue satin lining winks back at you. Papa always asks for the box back after I take out the jewelry. Secretly, I want the box more than the jewelry. I want it to be all mine and never have to give it back. I could find any old thing, a pebble, a leaf, a pistachio shell, and put it in the box. Like magic, these things would get to be special at least for a day. Maybe he'll let me have it when your jewelry runs out. I want to tell you about this diary I'm writing in. Kazi gave it to me this morning, wrapped in brown paper, tied with a piece of dried grass. He never gives me gifts for my birthday. I once read an English story where a little girl got a big pink cake and presents wrapped in shiny paper and bows for her birthday. I thought about the little gifts Kazi gives us all the time, pieces of candy under our pillows, or a ripe tomato from the garden, sliced, salted, and sprinkled with chili pepper on a plate. Cake and bows must be nice, but is anything better than a perfect tomato? The diary is covered in purple and red silk, decorated with small sequins and bits of mirrored glass sewn in. The paper is rough, thick, and the color of butter. It is not lined, which I like. I've never had a diary before. When Kazi gave it to me, he said it was time to start writing things down, and that I was the one to do it. He said someone needs to make a record of the things that will happen because the grown-ups will be too busy. I'm not sure what he thinks is going to happen, but I've decided I'm going to write in it every day if I can. I want to explain things to you as if I'm writing a storybook like the Jungle Book, except without all the animals. I want to make it real so you can imagine it. I want to remember what everyone says and does, and I won't know the ending until I get there. Kazi also gave Emil 5 charcoal drawing pencils. 5. He also made us rice kheer with our puris. I'm not sure there is anything better tasting in the world. Emil, who normally eats too fast, makes his pudding last extra long, eating the smallest bites he can. I think he just does it so I have to watch him long after I've finished. Every so often he'll look up and smile. I pretend I don't care. Sometimes he saves his sweets for me, but not the rice kheer. Today we were running late, though, and Emil couldn't spend forever eating his kheer because Daddy took our plates away and told us to get ready. Emil started grumbling about school and how he wished he was a grown-up and could work at the hospital like Papa instead. The drums sound better at a distance, Daddy said like she always does, and rushed us out the door. Here's another secret, and don't be mad. Emil and I didn't go to school. We headed all the way out of town to the sugarcane field and tried to walk through it like a maze. We broke off pieces to chew. Later, we stopped under a shady tree. Emil found bugs to draw, and I read. After, we bought potato pakoras on the roadside cart in town, hoping no one would ask why we weren't in school. The pakoras tasted crisp and extra salty. Emil thinks they're too salty, but I like the sting on the tongue that stays long after I've finished eating. Emil would rather draw and play all day instead of going to school. He would rather do anything besides school. He draws very well. Did you know that? I don't hate school, but I didn't want Emil to be alone on our birthday. When Papa finds out we didn't go to school, he'll be much angrier at Emil than he will be at me. That's how it is with Papa and Emil. It hasn't always been like that. Emil used to be Papa's favorite. I think because Emil was always louder, happier, and funnier than I am. But now, because Emil isn't small and cute, Papa is different. When we were about 7 or 8, Emil ran away. That's when it started. Papa came home from a long day at the hospital, and during dinner, he told Emil to stop smiling so much, that it made him look ridiculous. This only made Emil smile more. Then Papa said, "Emil, you can't read. You play around too much and draw little pictures. You must be more serious, or you'll become nothing." "Maybe I should leave, then you'll be happy," Emil said. He waited for Papa to say something, but Papa didn't. He just turned back to his food. Emil got up and walked straight out of the house. An hour went by, and he didn't come back. So I went out to look for him. I looked everywhere, around the garden, the shed, Kazi's, and Mahit's cottages, all the places he might go. I even looked in the pantry and in Papa's closet. Papa acted like nothing was happening, but I told Kazi that I couldn't find Emil anywhere, and he told Daddy, and Daddy told Papa, so Papa went out with a lantern. I stayed awake in my bed wondering what I would do if Emil never came back. I couldn't imagine being in this house, in this life without him. I heard Papa return, and I waited to hear Emil's voice or his footsteps, but I didn't hear anything, and began to cry, holding my doll, Dee, tight. At some point, I fell asleep. When I woke up at first light, Emil slept soundly in his bed next to mine. I wasn't sure if I had dreamed the whole thing. "Emil?" I said, poking him awake. Standing over him. "Where did you go? Does Papa know you're back?" "Papa knows I'm back," Emil said in a dull voice. "I walked in the town, but then I kept going. I didn't want to stop, but Papa found me." "Is Papa mad?" I asked. "Papa will always be mad at me. It doesn't matter if I smile or don't smile. I'm just not what he wanted." "That's not true," I said, and put my hand on his shoulder. He turned away. He might have been right about Papa, though. Since the night he ran away, Papa always seems angry at Emil for being Emil. Papa left a book on Emil's bed this morning. Normally on our birthday, he only gives me the jewelry, and we do the puja at our temple, and offer the gods handfuls of leaves and sweets for a prosperous year. But Papa did not talk about it this morning. Maybe we will go tomorrow. Papa doesn't like to go to temple. We only go on our birthdays and Diwali because Dottie begs us to. Sometimes Papa walks her there and waits outside for her. I always look forward to going. I drink in the smoky smell of the lamps burning. I even like the metal taste of the holy water on my tongue. The soft sounds of the prayers being chanted and sung makes me feel loved, like you're there watching. But maybe a Hindu temple is the last place you'd be. Amal's book is beautiful. It's a thick collection of tales from the Mahabharata, with gold lettering on the cover and bright, colorful pictures inside. Emil will love the drawings, but he won't read it. Emil says he can't read right because the words jump around and change on him. Papa thinks he's lying, so he doesn't have to do his schoolwork, but I know he's not. I see the way he studies the writing, his eyes squinted, his face pinched. I see how hard he tries. He even turns the book upside down sometimes, but he says nothing helps. I think it's because Emil is a little bit magical. His eyes turn everything into art. Maybe Papa thought if he bought him a really good book, Emil would read it. Papa didn't say anything about skipping school today. I hope our headmasters don't send a messenger with a note. Now I'm tired and I must drink my warm milk and go to bed. Emil is already sound asleep, making little whistling sounds through his nose. I've decided that night is the best time to write you. That way, no one will ask me any questions. Love, Nisha. A story. And I love that it's all written in letters from a child to their mom who's not there anymore. Just a way to remember her and a way to just share what's going on in the day. I think it's a great idea. And I hope you enjoyed this book. Thanks for reading it with me.